again got up early. We had like, that was going to be our longest day. That was our definite century. Everything else was like, I think pretty close to a century. Some of the days we may have gone over accidentally. But this one was like mapped out, just Googled it. Fucking mapped out, was going to be like 104, 105 miles.
Like we were kind of near the entrance, at probably like 150 feet from the entrance, and we look over and we see the bikers, and like all we hear is like, stopping, passing on your left, danger, danger, pothole. We're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. It's like 7:30
and then from Oxnard, our next ride was going to be HB. I was looking forward to that. Because we were going to see Dave Basheda, Dan's brother, who was one of my favorite people on this planet.
Met some cool riders along the way riding. We followed them down into Santa Monica, and we were on the boardwalk in Santa Monica, and they split off and went inland, and we kept going through the pier and through Venice, and by that time we were all kind of separated in different paces and stuff.
We all got split up, dude, and we were like, no worries, dude, we're just following the AIDS ride. But what was happening is the AIDS ride was ending in LA that day, so that was only like halfway, maybe a little bit, maybe like 70 miles into the ride or so.
What I didn't realize was for the last like day and a half, I really relied on them for directions, because we had all separated, so because of that, riding in this massive group, and all of us got lost, I think, almost immediately.
So we all tried to figure out our way back down to Huntington Beach the best way, and we all got messed up and wasted a lot of miles and a lot of time.
We all got lost in this section. So I'm riding on this U for like 10 miles, and I get out my compass and I'm like, I'm going north. So I'm backtracking, and I'm like, dang it, and I'm pedaling real fast, like trying to find where I'm at.
I got lost because the bike trail kind of comes to an end and then starts, and then like the better bike trail's here, but you're like on this beach trail, and then it's like a pedestrian trail, and it's like the direction store just showed like a road going somewhere, but it's like, how do you get to this fucking road?
At that point, I was trying to catch up with Weston because he wasn't too far ahead of me, and I talked to him and he said he was looking for the one, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea, like the one's gonna be pretty close to here, like I drove on that road before. I'm like, I'll just hop on the one and just head south.
All of us attempted to take different ways. Like I had my biking map, so I generally knew like where I was gonna be going. Like it's still kind of hard to figure out, but I was able to reroute in about like a half hour, get back on the bike lane. But everybody else, dude, like I met up with Dan later. Dan had gotten lost for like an hour. Weston went like 10 or 15 miles out of the way.
There's this girl on a beach cruiser who's like our age, and I'm like, does this go back to the coast? Does this bike trail go to the coast? She doesn't say anything, she's just looking straight. And I'm like, does this bike trail go to the coast? Gets a little louder, she just looks straight, and I'm like, get louder. Does this go to the coast? Like, what the heck's wrong with her? And she goes, I can't hear you! I can't hear you! I can't hear you! She could have just said, that bike trail didn't end up going to the coast. She could have just said yes or no, but I realized I probably smelt and looked. I was a homeless person that day because I had all my bags. My legs were black from dirt. I probably had dirt all in my face, and she's like...
So I ride out into the city, find the one, go south, and ride on it for a while and start going through LAX, and I'm like, all right, like I shouldn't be in LAX right now, like this doesn't feel right. And I kept on riding all the way through, and then it turns into a four-way freeway going through this tunnel with no room to ride, and I was looking at my GPS, and Richie rides by me and parks his bike and starts looking at his map, and I was like, sweet, I found Richie, we got a map.
We're like, dude, let's try to find Weston. So we hit up Weston, and he's like, yeah, dude, like, I'm here at this intersection. We're like, okay, dude, like, we're Google mapping it. Okay, we're like so many miles away. We're gonna come find you. So wait right there. So we like cruise around for like 30 minutes, and we're like, dude, Weston's not here. And we're like, dude, Weston, are you sure this is where you're at? He's like, oh no, this is the intersection. We're like, oh, okay. So we like go and we try to find this intersection.
I think Hermosa Beach, Dan, Richie, and I got met up with each other, kind of running into each other, and they were on the phone with Weston. No, where the fuck Weston was, because he was giving us directions. He's like, we were on like had just crossed over the PCH, and we were at like Paso Alto or something like that. And he's like, well, I'm on that road too. I'm where it intersects with PCH. And we're like, well, that's in Long Beach. It's like a good like 2-hour ride from where we're at. Like, that can't be possible. It can't be right.
I knew I was supposed to take the 101 at one point, and my eyes aren't the greatest, and I was riding up a hill, and I see 101 on the sign, so I hop on, but and I'm riding, and I'm like, it's a crazy, this freeway is insane. We rode on a couple highways, but this one was like really insane. I'm riding down about 4 exits. There's these grates that have these gaps in them, like plenty wide enough for your tire to fall in, so you can't ride over them at all. You have to like swerve over really close to that lane, and I'm like, okay, I'm just riding. And finally I get to this part where it's a bridge, and all it is a gate, and I'd have to go into the lane completely like 7 times just on the part of the bridge I saw, and the bridge goes like all the way over this bay of water, and so I turn around, I'm riding backwards down the highway, and I get off, and
he got so fucking lost. When he started giving me where he went, it was like, I got on the 710 freeway, which in California you cannot ride on freeways. They're like I imagine most states are, where it's built to go 100 miles an hour. It's not built to be on a bicycle, and like, it's fucking gnarly to be on these things, like in a car. On motorcycles, I get sketchy as shit on these things.
And I pedaled to Huntington, and I'm thinking I'm just so far behind because of all my delays. But somehow you guys are still lost, and I got there like 2 hours or something before you guys.
Then we cruised on down to Huntington Beach, dude, and yeah, freaking Dave lived literally a block off of the beach, and we like cruised into Huntington like right at the sunset, so it was like so beautiful, dude. It was such a rad view when we got there.
Dave's fucking riding a constant stoke. He's a Spicoli. He's a Spicoli character. Took showers, drank beers, smoked cigarettes, had a whole fucking good old time.
And that was good, you know, not having to set up camp, being inside an apartment, sitting on a couch, talking to some people, drinking some beers, telling some stories. And hung out there, ordered a pizza, did a load of laundry, all took showers. It felt great.
Cruising to Dave's house, and like, he's super amped, and he's like, yeah, dude, we're stoked you're here, and they're just like broing out. And he had like his roommate there, and maybe like another dude, and he's like, dude, you guys want to jump in the pool? And we're like, no way, you have a pool. So we put on our trunks, and we dipped in the pool because we felt so dirty.
So we jumped in and swam a bit, and we smelled so bad. So Dave made us all shower.
I guess Dave like plays guitar and sings. Like, he's also a surfer, but he gets back, and like they're just like singing songs and making up stuff and laughing, and like it was tight, dude. Everyone was having a good time.
Ordered pizza, and I think we just threw in like $10 for Domino's. It's kind of expensive, but yeah, I mean, I was hungry. We wanted it, and pizza gets there. Like I ate 2.5 pieces, and I gave one to Dave.
And we, at this point, are 5 deep, and then we all pass out around like 10, between 10 and 11. Then, like Johnny, Dave's roommate, he goes out, and he meets up with his buddies at the bar, who are these like cholo dudes from like a little bit inland, who are hilarious, which we find out a couple hours later.
So Dave's house, it's 2 bedrooms, I think. One of the bedrooms is like a closet. So we already had Dave sleeping, and then the 4 of us, plus somebody was sleeping in the room. I think it's a 3rd roommate. And then these like 3 or 4 other dudes come in the middle of the night and then start sleeping.
Johnny, Dave's roommate, who's a fucking rad dude, came home with a couple of his buddies really drunk at 2 in the morning.
He's like, he comes in the door and he's like, why do you have so many dicks here, Johnny? Johnny, why do you have so many dicks? And he's like, hey dicks, what are you guys doing here? And he's like flashing as a super bright LED light in my eyes, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I like swat his hand away. I'm like, stop it, we just rode our bikes here. He's like, I'm like, let us sleep. And Johnny's like, yeah, leave them alone.
Johnny, how come you got so many dicks in here? He's like, shut up! That's an even! You shut up, fool!
And his one buddy just started, I don't even know how to, he was coughing, but it wasn't just coughing, it was this hysterical, consecutive, consistent coughing for like 15 minutes, right?
And Johnny's like, shut up. And he's like, no, you shut up, fool. You shut up, fool. And it's not even his house. He's just like the worst house guest ever.
And Johnny hears it, and he's like, shut up! Every time, like, shut the fuck up! You're fucking coughing, shut up! You shut up, fool! Went on for like 10 or 15 minutes.
All of us are awake by this point, just looking at this guy like, what the fuck, man? This is ridiculous.
One of the guys was snoring, dude, like snoring like a freaking train was coming down the tracks, like so loud, and everybody was like, dude, like, shut up, man, you're snoring so loud.
They're like, I can't, the chainsaw's gonna start, and every now and again he would just go, we're like, oh, it's starting, and then it wouldn't start.
Anyways, he sleeps for maybe a couple hours, and then it's just like, his snoring amplifies like 10 times. It sounds like there's 4 people snoring all at once.
Dave's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get some cookies and milk. Dave keeps talking for like 20 minutes. Like, not just talking, like having a conversation. Like, the kid stops coughing, I think, and Dave's still having a loud conversation with me, keeping everybody up.
Besides that, it was a good night's sleep, and I kind of just got a laugh about that in the morning.
Another night with little sleep. Like every night. Before waking up to wet tents.